This break is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook, head over to audible.com/gamebreaker. Hi everyone, my name's Olivia Grace and I'm here today to talk to you about some of the new zones in Pandaria which are being added in patch 5.2. There are two new zones being added that we know about so far. There's always the potential for more to be in as we are still in the PTR stages, but the current new zones are the Isle of the Thunder King where the raid takes place, and also the Isle of Giants, which is further to the east than the Isle of Thunder Kings, and is currently the home of Undasta, a whole lot of dynamancers, and a troll who collects dinosaur bones. Now, Blizzard Community Manager Bashiok has headed over to the forums recently to put pay to some rumours about whether flying mounts would be permitted in these new zones. Now, you may remember a little while back we posted here on Gamebreaker about jumping puzzles coming to WoW. Well, those are limited to these new zones. And part of what they're doing here is working on the jumping puzzles. So if you had flying in zones where there were jumping puzzles, would that be any good? Because it doesn't sound like it would be to me. But debate has been raging on the use of flying mounts in Mists of Pandaria's zones, with some saying that you should be able to fly from the very second you get there, that they should introduce something like the Tome of Cold Weather Flying that was in Northrend, where once one alt had learnt to fly in Northrend, they could pass that on to other alts, making it easier for them to get going early. So some other people have been saying that flying kind of ruins questing content and the questing experience by making it a little bit too easy. So you can just take off and land where you need to be. You don't have to run through mobs. You can sort of swoop down on your objective and capture it like that. And I'm kind of interested in where you stand. Bashiok has put the ball very, very firmly in the latter part for the new zones in Pandaria, saying that we pretty firmly believe the questing experience is just wholly better when you can't lift off and set down wherever you feel like it, frog leaping from quest objective to quest objective. So what they've done with the new zone coming in patch 5.2 is not dissimilar to the Isle of Quel'Danas, where they're just not allowing flying at all. Flying is completely out of the question in the new zone. It's just not going to happen. They think it's good for questing. They think it's good for world PvP. And they also think it's good for world bosses like Undasta, the dinosaur and armor boss that's coming out with patch 5.2, where there's this feeling that they don't want you to be able to just swoop down on it. He does come back saying that he doesn't think flying mounts are ever going to go away in the new areas. So that's a comfort, definitely. And I'm wondering, what do you think about this? Personally, I'm undecided. I can definitely see the point about questing. It does make it more immersive, more interesting if you have to sort of work your way through the mobs to get to your objective rather than just flying around the place. And I think, personally for me, parts of Pandaria are definitely prettier from the ground. But on the other hand, it's so inconvenient. It's so inconvenient not being able to fly. And that initial questing experience is great on your first character, but it does get less fun the second time you go through it. So it's an interesting one, but of course, as you mentioned earlier, the introduction of jumping puzzles in these new areas, particularly outdoor ones, would be kind of completely ruined if they added flying. So that's something to think about. What do you think? Does flying reduce immersion? Does it really not matter? Are you thinking that this is a good thing for the new areas in patch 5.2, or are you thinking it's a bad thing? As always, do let me know in the comments in the article below. I love reading your responses, and keep it locked and dialed to Gamebreaker TV for all your gaming needs.